skirts of San Antonio, where these people, you know, felt more comfortable with less traffic and stuff like that.
So Mr. Tejada, you have the first criteria in reference to spending hotel motel taxes, bringing heads to beds. The key thing is that we have to be able to qualify and quantify that. So that if you're saying you're here and that you use a special coupon or that they fill out a survey, we need to be able to track the fact that you had your event, it directly ties into, you know, Motel 6 or Motel Super 8 being booked out, then it makes sense. And so if it's not a break even, it's along the property, it's the right thing to do. We want to be able to generate. And you know there's a ripple effect. You come and stay in a hotel, motel, the hotel makes money, the sales tax, people buy gas, people eat.
Everybody's gonna make money, I mean,
Right.
but like you say in the event, if you pay, say you pay $25 for the band or whatever, well, you break even, fine.
But you have to remember that we're gonna be able to piggyback off of advertising, some definitely expensive, but we wanna be able to piggyback off of the city advertising itself. And so, as the city's going to put together a marketing campaign for the city of Floresville, when we're advertising and we come to your event in June, we can definitely, the advertising money that we set aside for the overall purpose for that shouldn't be necessarily counted, because that one thing about them can kill the budget for that event. Because no way that event's gonna be, so we need to be able to elevate the advertising to get the people from outside the area to come in.
Right.
So there's an overall budget, and then there's a budget that's just related to the event. So that your ticket sales have to be proportional to what your entertainment's going to be and what your costs are. But the overall budget part for marketing can come from a different budget. So I'll have a rough draft, like you mean rough draft, gentlemen, for you all to look at, definitely by your next meeting.
When Joe used to run these events that I used to go to in town, a lot of the music and everything else like that, he had great controls. I mean, if you came there and you wanted to buy beer, he sold you tickets to buy the beer, you know, so, he did tickets for everything, right?
That's the best way to track sales, inventory, and the money.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
No, it was for me, I mean,
No,
because the activity, because this is almost like a baby. I mean, I know it's Vincent has been here 3 years, but we're trying some new and different things. That's only what's I'm saying, break even, but not your advertising, but just to break even. Say, okay, these events, some will work and some will not. And so, we talked about a lot of different events, and so, I'm going to have a budget in there for your events, because, you know, you gotta have that money to go hire that band. And so, as we look at them, there's a revenue and expenditure, that's all I'm saying.
Basically, you're going to advertise the entire town, not just the one event, but she's going to advertise the entire
Well,
town.
like I say, if you don't bring people out of town,
Right.
you're gonna lose.
Right.
That's it.
Right, and so we're going to advertise your event, because we need to bring in people from out of town. I need to bring with the city, I need to bring people from out of town, and then we're working on putting together so that if they come, and they see the advertising, they get a discount at the hotels because they use this number or whatever, coupon or whatever. That helps us track, and then I get it from them, and if anybody ever comes to check me out, if they come, like I say, here it is, it was an advertisement. Because one of the things that Aurora's gonna do, her first thing, is to start with the hotel. She was so amazed that we have 10 hotels now, compared to the 2 hotels when she was here before.
Can we,
Major change that we'll be able to handle that.
have we thought about a marquee for that building?
That is on the agenda for Thursday.
Okay.
To do, and we can use hotel motel tax.
I was gonna say that could go there.
You know, I had a council meeting where the gentleman came out, and it looks just like the high school. This was unique because this company is made, everything's made in America. One of the other problems that they have sometimes when you have all these marquees is that when you have to replace one little piece, you have to send it over to Japan, but this one is made in America. And so, I'll have the specifications and hopefully they'll approve it, but I think it was.
It's all electronic, right?
It's all electronic, and the pictures, and actually, Gloria can control it from her office, but I can control it from
Now,
mine as well.
that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But I can control it from mine as well.
Okay.
I don't have
You'll
to
be able to
put
do,
letters
you know,
out
you
there.
can do time and temperature like they do at the bank, but you can also advertise your career, and I think that's a great, it's two-sided, I think that's a great advertisement. As people come up and down 97, they can be able to see what's happening that day, so hopefully.
You know, people out of town, they don't know where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and a little signage out here on 97 by the turnoff going out there would not hurt anything, because a lot of people don't know how to get there after they get to Floresville.
Right, and so one of the things that the hotel tax allows you to do is signage. It's in there, you can do signage to your events, and we definitely want to have signage to my church bureau as well as my event center. So those are all things in mind. So we will have a specification, but and it's gonna have, please say the name of the facility so I can say it right.
Laudio J. De Leon.
Would be at the top of the
Floresville Event
marquee,
Center.
so that we can properly make sure that we recognize him. I understand it was dedicated to him. That'll be there. Also on the agenda for the 18th, there's a young gentleman who wants to do flags along.
What's he charging per flag?
I think $300 per flag, per pole.
Yeah.
But the city council has to approve it, and then I can get my engineers to get out there to design it. But the idea that he has is like the United Nations.
Yeah.
Instead of having 50 nations, we'll have 50 flags for 50 states. Each will be represented, but only flown on special occasions. So when you have your event, your dance party, we would definitely fly the flags for that event, or different holidays, Martin Luther King's birthday, flag
Where are
day.
these flags gonna be on it?
Okay, so please forgive me, the exit side, there's grass along that side.
Right.
Same side as the patio. And so I was speaking to the engineer, when I was talking about the sign, to see the power, the end of power for the sign for the road. You can imagine that this
Yeah.
LED sign is gonna take up a whole lot, it's two-sided. You should actually light flags, it's not required to light state flags, but it's required to light the flag of the United States.
Flag at night, it's gonna be lit.
Flag, and that's lit, and so we're gonna look and see what the power is to do so. So he's coming with that, so that's something that I think we're gonna arch it just a little, so they can be nice flags flying, but.
Well, this guy told you a long time ago about that. I thought, we gotta go to city council, the only one can tell you.
He's
He
got
did.
40-something
He made
responses.
yes, he made his presentation last week, and it should be approved. I'm really trying to work hard to have a presentation, one week to the council, let them chew on it, see what happens, see the feedback, and then approve it at the next council, because sometimes those things are kind of a lot to take in, and then it's just say, okay, vote on it.
Wise decision.
So they can digest a little bit.
Trust me,
And
very wise.
so I will do the same to you. I will not ask you to approve a budget, just put it in front of you all, for you to look at it too long and be ready to do
Okay.
that. And I should have an anticipated dates to work with a workshop for the councils early enough so that if we need to move the date, we can move the date to accommodate them. Just to let you know, we're gonna be meeting the council in each individual entity or department. So they'll meet with just the 4A, and all we're gonna talk about is 4A budget. They'll meet with 4B, and all they talk about is 4B budget. And so that way, we can stay focused, and they can give you the time and attention that you need, and everybody can hear their goals and objectives. So what we start out with the beginning of the budget workshop probably won't be what the budget ends up looking like, but it gives us a start. So remember, this is the first time we did that, and so you're right on the money when you talk about hotel motel tax. Heads and beds is the #1 thing that is supposed to give up.
Thank you for.
So hopefully look for that budget. I'm all excited. It'll look a whole lot different than it did last year. But we're doing okay.
There's a public comment period, correct? Y'all are forecasting that's factored into it?
Yes, sir.
Is it factored into it for individuals, like the 4A, are we gonna have a public comment period as well, or is it just we're gonna follow the city?
What we've done before is that we asked that the committee post an agenda as well as the city, so it's your meeting as well as theirs. So it's
So it'll be a joint meeting with the council and the 4A.
And there is
Okay.
there's a citizen comment on each agenda.
Okay.
And then they can come in and make whatever comments they want. Usually we've been, like in our meeting, if Laura wants to make a comment or Jim wants to make a comment, we allow them to make, I can't say a diatribe for hours, but for a limited amount of time, we've always allowed them to make their comments. Because we feel like it's something, if they have an idea, why say, no, you gotta do it?
And then, because it's the city manager's budget, it's not an official budget, but last year, and I've only done one of these, so I'm learning. But last year, I posted my budget online, put couple copies at the library, and one at the front desk. So anybody wanted to see or see whatever I was proposing, it was available for public.
I'm just, like I said, I'm used to the city of San Antonio having literally like a 2-week period. You know, but they got a monster of a budget.
Compared to.
It's not that long, but I mean, it's a period of time there prior to the actual final vote where the, you know, it's open for public comment, and they go down to each department, they have some, you know, massive, like
Yes.
their
So we're gonna have each department will have its own budget workshop. Some of them I've grouped together, like the police department and the fire department, and this court I put together. There's also 2 public hearings that we have as well. Unlike San Antonio, I have my public hearings right before my city council. So it's a typical time that people will come, so we're not having at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we usually have them right before city council meeting, that usually opens it up for city council meeting. Because people are typically used to being here at 7 o'clock, and so we start out the meeting with public hearings, to allow people to do that.
That was mostly my own curiosity.
No. So I will get you, now, is it easier if I have Monica to call you and let you know when the package is ready for you to see that, and everybody wants to send it to them electronically?
Okay.
Is that okay? Oh, I know you get my, I have your email on it. Is it good for you?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and I hope you will please make comments on this budget before I get it to Sean.
Okay.
Now, we have another situation we have to deal with. When we elected officers the previous couple meetings back, one of those officers left the board,
Yeah, the secretary.
the secretary. And so, for our own benefit, and so Ms. Turner won't have to sit there and type up the minutes for us that she's been doing. I think it behooves us to have a secretary in place. And we need to come back and elect a secretary. I think that's what the agenda item
Yes,
was.
because you lost your secretary in your last resignation, I believe, Ms. Stephanie Moore resigned. And we are accepting a resignation of number one of your members, as well as an appointment. Who that appointment will be, I don't know. And so I just wanted to let you know that one of your key officers is a secretary. You need to have that. I think you have the chairman and the vice chair. Chris is
Chris is vice chair.
Chris is last name?
Flores, he doesn't come to meetings, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him last
Chris
time.
Flores is your vice chairman, and you.
Never comes to meetings.
Okay, and so it was just only, we wanted to have a meeting since you were all together, and so you, if you want to go.
And we have to have one for the TABC. Our last board member is not even living in the city of Florida, our last secretary is not even living in the city of Floresville. The last one that the TABC has on there, former city manager, Jocelyn. And so we need to take care of that.
Under whose name is it now, the license?
Right now, I'm the only one that's on there, and I'm the only one that is on the board that's on the license. It was formerly myself and Mr. Jocelyn, who was on the 4A board, and he was secretary. But when he left, we re-elected officers, and Ms. Moore was elected secretary. And then she left the board. And so we have a open spot there that if TABC wanted to be particular about it, they can say, you don't have enough, you don't have people on the board. So we need to take care of that, I think, rather promptly.
Oh, you got how many, you got two openings, right?
We got one open.
One opening?
One, you have one vacancy, which Lucy is Lucy, because she resigned. So you have one vacancy on your board as a whole, and one vacancy on your executive board, which would be president, the vice chair, and your secretary.
We need a secretary.
want that done tonight, Bill?
I think we need to have it done tonight.
Well,
I mean,
Well-
you can tie it to the lease and do it, because it's gonna kind of like run hand in hand.
We can do that too. We can have the
If you
election
want
for the.
to table it, and then we can put it on the next agenda, once you've.
The only advantage to that would be that maybe we would have the other board member appointed by that time.
No, just as a courtesy, my city secretary typically will text everybody to remind them to be, because everybody is busy. And, so we do remind everybody that there is a meeting at the time.
mhm.
We will continue to do so, because it helps out.
Well, and also, I think the names you gave us, some school people, we could I'll talk to,
I can call some of them
Yeah.
also.
well, we gotta get the message over to Eric or Johnny Ray or Danny or,
Yeah.
you know, some people that will wanna serve. We were just talking before you came in about some people at the school that coaches and things like that.
So,
Part of the board one.
Yeah.
yes, we will. So, as I spoke to earlier, just in passing, saying that I didn't receive any applications, at least my office didn't receive any applications, somebody who's interested in joining the 4A. If you have any recommendations for the council, they can appoint. You can just let them know who you think that you would like to work with, and they can take it under consideration. So if you have any suggestions, please reach out to any councilman you feel comfortable to let them know you may have a recommendation, and they may or may not go with your recommendation, but that's how it's done, because it's left open, you can list a name. So, Chairman, are you saying that you want to table this item for the next meeting?
What's the consensus of the board? What do y'all feel? I mean, we can elect someone tonight, we can, or we can wait.
And the position is the secretary,
The
right?
position
Can it
is the
be a
secretary.
temporary appointment?
Well, I'd rather go ahead and do the permanent appointment if we're gonna do it, because we're gonna have, that person's gonna have to fill out the secretary will have to fill out a application with TABC.
And also, there's some other things that, the secretary has to sign for. We'll be coming up with some things in reference to tax things, IRS things, to officially attach to someone's signature. So your secretary is a part of your makeup, so.
I will wait till we get, maybe I'll appoint somebody pretty soon.
So, but, the nice thing about tabling something is that, if you table it, it comes right back on your next agenda, whatever that
Yeah.
is.
Is that?
The last time you guys modified that liquor license, what was the turnaround? When did y'all get it back, the change?
We sent, we got the application, there's a background that you have to do, and we sent a copy of the agenda and the minutes with it, and it was a matter of, just a matter of, it was like 72 hours.
No, the amended liquor license, where you add, you change your name.
Well, they don't,
They
I
don't
don't
actually
think,
give you
they
they don't give you
don't
the
send
license.
us another
They
license.
just said,
They
we got
You
it.
just have to have the next person,
They said,
got
put
a
it
new
on file.
person on the board.
They said,
It has to be a signature.
It's like we on file, it's like they put it on file, it's on file.
Replace.
And it
I
does-
have the form, I pulled it up in case y'all wanted to do that, but I also was like, how long will it take for us to find out?
Normally, it takes them about 2 weeks, I think, to approve the person or do
They do the background.
the background. They run the criminal history and this, that, and the other. And I think when I did it the first time, it took them about 2 weeks. And they notified me that I had been approved. And, but then they had other requirements about the license. And at that time, we had a man who lived here in Floresville, or a person who lived here in Floresville that worked up there, and she made it a point to help us get things done expeditiously. And, but I don't know how long it takes now. And I don't think she did anything to put us in the first.
Well, I would
line.
volunteer to do that, and you can get it done now, and then, otherwise, we're just gonna kick it down the road for another meeting, and God knows if we'll have anybody else here.
Well, that's true too.
So that's my,
Someone,
Well, I nominate Paul.
Okay. I guess I can I second that? I guess. I'll second that if I'm allowed to do that. I guess I am. It's been moved and seconded that Mr. Paul Sack be our corporation secretary. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Paul. We can go ahead and start that process.
Yeah.
City has, your attorney has that order.
Yes, I'll get that to you, Paul.
Yeah, back in the used to, I had to do real life, about the
Yeah.
same time. Go to
Get
the
your
courthouse,
just
pay
pay
money.
Standing.
Yeah.
What's your name on it?
Not anymore.
No, they've tightened it up considerably.
All right.
Okay, we have on our agenda, executive session for us to visit with our attorney. I'll leave that up to y'all. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Do we need to continue that into the executive
That's up to
session?
you guys. I had one thing.
I have some issues, but I think it'd be easier for me if I emailed them to Tom and he could just, take them up. I've lost all my battles with him together, so.
We were fighting, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, individually, yeah, if you had something you wanted to just kind of, get the fires burning, you can think about, that's fine. Sure.
Yeah.
But it was
Everything's pretty cut and dry.
Well, the things that I was concerned about, mostly brought in under the budget item and the lease item.
The only thing that I would add, that I would have mentioned in the executive session, I can tie into the new business, and that is that all new officers of the board need to take the open meetings training.
Right.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
It's easily done online. I think Henrietta can probably get you the
I'll have to get
address.
you the email address, and you can take it online, it's 45
Get
minutes.
a nice certification just like that, you print it out, I get it, just to
Then-
show y'all what it looks like.
And
Yeah.
if you could,
And
provide
you even
the
put the
city-
date on there. You put your name and your date on there.
And if you could provide a copy to the city, we
Yeah.
can keep it on file, because, Wisconsin News likes to ask for those, like, information.
And you need to take it anyway. It'll open your eyes to a lot of things.
So, I'll get that for you. And then, Mr. Tahada.
We never had to do this in Illinois.
Well, there's two of them that I'd like for you to look at. One is the Open Meetings Act, the other one is the Open Records Act. They're both on the same website, and you can go on there, and it takes about 45 minutes each.
And Mr. Tahada, if you like, you can, I'll have Monica reach out to you, and we can schedule it, so you can take it online, you can come here and City Hall and take it online. The open meeting training.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can just-
You don't have to, there's no tests or anything like that. You just have to sit and listen to it.
Just to go through, and the council just did it all for, council just did it all, it's approved. We did it in a workshop, so we can have the money, that's it. Okay, it should be the website, so you can get that link.
I've got mine too, and I should call them too.
Yeah, I mean, if you just provide us, once you get done, a copy of it, it's nice for us to have it on file.
Sure.
And the one thing that it will tell you is, it is not required by law that you do it, but it is, it is a defense if you have someone that they feel like you violated the open meetings law. It is a positive defense that you have taken the training and whatever. So, anyway,
And the city would strongly encourage you to take them.
yeah, it's just a good thing to do. There being no further business, it is now 11 minutes till 8 o'clock, 49 after 7. And I declare this meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank
So you're gonna email me that?